So we're back here with Amber. We just took a quick little break here. Um, what was that experience like for you?
So it's interesting, and I'd like to kind of talk through it because listening to your voice kind of guide to a time where I was, you know, happy or feeling like just joyful right at the beginning before bringing in the abundance like discussion. I kind of just for some reason went back to like this memory of childhood, and the happiness was because it was surrounded by someone important.
Yeah.
So a family member, and it was just, I don't know, it took me right back to like being a happy kid, which is interesting because I would never consider myself to have a happy childhood. So that was really interesting that it guided me to that moment. But then sort of as the verbiage changed and you were speaking about like abundance and colors and joy and talking to myself to bring it into like parts of my life today, I kind of started flickering back and forth to a memory that I just had last week of me being on holiday alone, which I normally don't do. And I was hiking, and it was the first time I've done something kind of by myself in an unknown place, in this beautiful mountain in Hawaii. And so I guess I wanted to talk through it a little bit because I kind of started to, I don't know, I wasn't really thinking. It was just kind of happening. But it was flickering back and forth to like things I was seeing on that hike that were making me really happy, or the abundance or the color or the feeling of like, anything is possible. But then flickering back to like this smiling child, what I would assume, I guess now looking at it, would maybe be somehow connected in the sense that after all this time, like there was a glimmer of like a happy, joyful, hopeful kid. And then I did have a moment as an adult very recently as a happy, joyful, like abundant adult.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't even know if I'm asking a question. I guess my question is like, is there a right or wrong way to do things? Does that happen where it
Yeah,
kind of...
absolutely. There's no right or wrong way, because the thing is, again, understand, right? And this is why I like to tell people that these are all lies.
Right.
Right? That, of course, these both events happen, but it's metaphor. And really, it's about noticing that thing that you said that perhaps you didn't consider, yourself having a happy childhood.
Right.
But understand that that is talking about something that is external to you.
Right.
Right? Having a happy childhood, having a great career, all of these sort of things, that is circumstance, external things around you. That's how we measure.
Right.
Right? But being a happy child, that is something on the inside.
Right.
Right? And it's absolutely possible to be a happy child, the ability, because that's who you are.
Right.
Right? And you have the ability to be a happy child, even if the external environment around you wasn't necessarily happy.
Right.
Right? Very much of the work that we do and very much of the success, and NLP, Richard Bandler often uses the term personal freedom, right? Personal freedom happens because we recognize that we have an ability to choose and focus on, we can focus on all the stuff that's happening to us. But personal freedom is on noticing and focusing on how we can respond to it.
Right.
Right? And so that's the thing, that we all have the ability truly to be happy. Right? And by nature, all children are actually born happy.
Right.
Unless something is done to them, they're laughing, they're smiling, they've got none of that baggage. No.
So innocent.
That's exactly it, right? But yeah, and it's funny. I mean, you say innocent, I'm like so mature, right, and so wise, right?
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. They haven't had that sort of, those things sort of happen to them, right?
Right.
And so they are just naturally happy, unless you go and do something to them. You take away their kid, or you punish them, or you yell at them, or something. Otherwise, they're just happy, right?
Right.
A lot of my work is sometimes I feel like I'm reminding adults on how to be kids again.
Right.
Right? And perhaps, and that's the thing, there is no right or wrong. And anything that I say now is nothing more than just a guess. Right? But it'll be hopefully a useful guess. And perhaps the reason, you went back and forth between, the memory of that childhood, the happy child, well, that showed you that, hey, amongst everything, you have the ability to be happy, right? And then you went here, and it's like, hey, guess what? You were also happy here.
Right.
And it's tying those things together. It's all about your ability to be happy now.
Right.
And your ability to have a life where you're filled with abundance and love, because that's what you notice. You ever been in this is a very common example, but, tell me if you can relate. And I think I talked about this in one of the classes that you're taking with me.
Yeah.
Is, my last car was an orange SUV.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason I wanted an orange SUV is because I wanted to be unique, because I believe no one has an orange SUV.
Right.
But the day I go to the dealership, I put on my deposit, I make it official, I sign the papers, I walk out, and literally standing in the parking lot, I suddenly see like 3 orange SUVs drive by.
Yeah.
Right? It's because my brain wasn't looking for it.
Right.
Right. Even though it was always there.
Right.
And that's a lot of the work around personal freedom, because there's all this magic and wonder happening around us at all times. Right. But if we're not looking for it, we're definitely not going to find it.
Right.
Right. And so this is a great way, for you to notice that, hey, you know what? Hey, I was by myself and I was hiking, but I felt free and abundant and loved, just like I knew how to feel as a kid.
Right.
And this is now evidence for you that you actually always have this ability inside of you.
Right.
Now it's up to you to choose to access it or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And what about, let's talk about, what was that feeling like trying to lift your hand off the knee or open your eyes?
It's really funny because, and I think, again, something going back to referencing the class that I'm taking with you, it's just interesting because we don't, I guess, how do I say this? There's things that we do subconsciously, and that's something I'm really intrigued about in the learnings of this program, is there's things that we do subconsciously that keep us alive, right? For example, breathing, or, putting one foot in front of the other to go somewhere. Like, I know that I'm thirsty and I want to drink, but I don't think that I need to lift my leg to do it. I just know somehow out of existence that A to B gets me what I want. Exactly. So to get up and to go, and I find my feet moving underneath me. So it's funny because with the hand, to bring it back, I guess thinking about not moving my hand, right, or the thought around it being glued to my leg, obviously it wasn't, and that's again obvious.
Yeah.
But thinking about my hand. And this, I just did this, and I didn't think to do that. I didn't tell myself to move my hand. Yeah. I just did it. So it's one of those interesting concepts where you really are in more control than maybe you think, and that can go into any perspective or for anything in life, really. You're in more control than you think.
Absolutely.
And if you actually think about something or not think about something, that affects the outcome.
Yeah.
So it's really, I don't know if that made any kind of sense.
Yeah, that made perfect sense, and that's exactly what's happening.
Just
here.
Being in that awareness of my hand being there, and not moving it, and that was the goal, then I didn't move.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And then a part of you is trying to move it.
Yeah.
Right?
And thinking,
it's a weird feeling.
And that's the thing, like I said, the one foot in front of the other, I don't think about that, it just happens. So when you think about something not happening or it being glued, that becomes the reality. That becomes the truth.
Yeah.
Because I'm I can't move it, so there it is.
There it is. And your eyes weren't closed at that time either.
Right. And it's funny because, yeah, oh jeez, it's really difficult to explain. I mean, I know that if I needed to, if something was coming at me, I would have been able to move my hand. I'm sure I would have, but to just have it there and be aware of my limb not moving, it was Yeah. Gosh, I don't know how to describe some of these things. It's really something you have to experience for yourself.
Exactly. And what I like to tell people is I don't know how electricity works.
Right.
but I know how to use the light switch.
Right.
Just focus on the things that are useful for you.
Absolutely, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this
Thank
and
you.
making the time. And yeah, and if you guys are watching this and you have any questions or comments, I'll make sure to tag you.
Yes.
Right.
Please.
And definitely, you'll make yourself available to answer questions, and I'm around to answer any questions that you guys have as well.
Yeah, all questions welcome. It's going to be hard for me to explain. It's really experiential, which is interesting. Yeah. And I think everyone probably has their own belief and
everyone
outcome.
Has a very unique experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.